as I was evaluating this in the time of Darius and the people that he had around him, I just had this thought. I'm going, you know, it's really not a whole lot different today, is it? Right? I mean, we have the heart of man still is corrupt. You know, it's still deception. And so when I went back and I thought, this is where I'm going to pull into our modern day here just for a second. And that is, if you go back to 2016, when Trump is elected for the first time, I would say he was a smart guy, but probably a little naive on how the political system worked, right? What happened? He was deceived by Comey, by Milley, you name it, right? He didn't know who to trust. He didn't understand the system, and we probably all would have fell into that trap, right? This time around, you see something a little bit different in 2025. What has he done different?
He's learned a lot.
He's not trusting those people no more. He's putting people he trusts around him to get advice.
People that the other person had in there.
Right. So he's getting rid of all those because now he kind of knows where the bodies are. So he gets rid of all those so that he can surround himself with. Now, could he still be deceived and could people still turn on him? Sure. That's just the way people are. You know, as soon as he does something they don't like, and they could turn on, like anybody could, you know.
Yeah.
And so it is very, very possible. Okay. Let me see if I can get this up. I want to explain something on how something works here. What I want to show you something is I want to see if I can, I don't know, help us understand how these things work in our political system and how that we can be so deceived, and why I keep saying turn off all the mainstream media, okay? And this isn't to get political. This is to show how the system works against the people and against those maybe in power, okay? And when we draw these parallels, we can see that Darius had surrounded himself with these kind of men, and so the heart and the deception has really never changed. And so here we have a Politico, it can't read it very well, I'll read it for you. Okay, this was January 21st of 2025, so this is just a couple of, today the 22nd? 23rd, I thought, okay. Anyway, Senate learns of new allegations against Hegseth. Okay, now these are other allegations other than the previous allegations before he went through the confirmation process, okay? Or through not the confirmation, but when he went before the House and the committees and stuff like that. Okay? It just says that the defense secretary nominee, former sister-in-law, now that's key, the former sister-in-law, in an affidavit said she witnessed his drunken aggression and that his second wife worried about her safety. So how does this work? Okay, in order for Politico or for an organization to be able to run an article like this, they only have to have one senator or somebody in that arena to question it. This is an allegation. Okay, so as soon as, and I'm going to show you another article, as soon as the allegation is made, and it made it to the top, and somebody in the Senate or somebody in our Congress or somebody, mainly in our Senate, starts to question this, this gives them the permission to run the article. Okay? This is an allegation. What you don't see here in Politico is that they've tried to go back to, this is Hegseth's second wife, tried to go back to her and says, these allegations are false. They went straight to her and she says, I'm even going to lawyer up because what's being said is not true, but they ran the article anyway. Okay? They know this is not true, but they ran it because they're afraid of Hegseth getting in there and just cleaning house. Okay? And so they run these, what they call a wrap-up smear campaign. And so as soon as they have a senator or somebody question it in our House, then this filters down and they smear whoever they can smear with an allegation. That's not even true. Okay? So here is Chuck Ross. Okay? And so here's the mechanism. Here he's explaining how this mechanism works. I'm trying to explain how our system works and how they try to train our mind and how they try to focus all of us by these allegations to believe a false narrative. This is why don't listen to Politico. Don't listen to these guys, because you're going to hear this on all mainstream media and it's not even true. And we're going to find out that this won't be true. Okay, so the mechanism, though, in play to get them to do this with Hegseth allegation is the same as the Steele dossier or many others. Remember the dossier, the hoax, all that stuff? It all came out false. We know now that none of that was true, but yet they used that over and over and over again to form the American narrative in deception. They knew it wasn't true, and now we know it is. And so this is what. So he's using the Steele dossier as an example here. It says a source provides an allegation through official channels, the senator, okay, which markets it reportable to the news outlets, whether the underlying claim is accurate or not, so they can run that article and smear. And so anybody listening to mainstream media automatically thinks now he's guilty. Something's wrong. It's a false allegation because they've already tried to contact his second wife and she said, I don't want anything to do with this. And so let me see if I can play this. I don't know how well we'll be able to hear it. And you will hear, as Nancy Pelosi was, I know it's hard to listen to her, but she explains exactly how this stuff works.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this, so they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear.
So you don't have to listen to me. They're saying it. She just described what they do. First they make the allegation, they make it to where they get it, and she said she's talking to the press. So then we give it to you, the press, so you can run the article, and then we do the wrap-up. That's how this works. This starting to make sense now on how our political system works and when they don't like somebody. So when you hear an allegation, and it doesn't matter if they're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, when you hear an allegation, it's an allegation. If they don't like somebody and they don't take sides, okay, if they got somebody in their own party that they don't like, they'll do a wrap-up smear on them. Okay? It's a dirty game. Okay? Yeah, it destroys lives. It literally will destroy their life. And it isn't that necessarily, they may not get a conviction. It may come out to be true, but it's the process that is the penalty. Because you have to mortgage your house, you have to lawyer up, they will destroy you in the process.
Michael Flynn.
Yeah. Michael Flynn lost everything. Same thing. And so, in the case of Darius, it was kind of the same thing, right? They didn't like Daniel, so they want to get him out of the way. Same thing in our current politics. They don't like somebody, they come up with an allegation, want to get him out of the way. Because it messes up their plan. You see? It messes up their plan.